Late.
All good, Linda.
Yes, can you
Welcome,
hear me?
welcome. Absolutely, absolutely, we can hear you. So welcome to the space. Welcome to our Creators Academy Q&A. My name is Beata Fuller, and I've been in the natural success world for a number of years now. I don't remember how many. Time kind of disappears when you're coming into being a creator. But it's around 4 years ago that I was introduced to it, and then did CYD and the rest of the curriculum, became a natural success coach, and now run programs and all sorts of stuff, all sorts of stuff. I came from a background of being an optometrist and totally transformed my life, created a whole new life of a digital nomad with my partner Ed, and we trip around the world. So right now we're in Western Australia, about 3 hours south of Perth. We're hanging out here in a little place called Dunsborough on the beach at the moment, and it's 5:06 a.m. here in WA. It's when you become a digital nomad, that's one thing you get used to. You get very used to being up at all times and asleep at all times. And I'm a morning person, so I much prefer to run sessions at this time of the day than at the other time of the day. I fade at the other end. So here I am, and I know that some of you might be new to natural success. I know there's certainly at least half of you that I haven't met, possibly even more that I haven't met, in this kind of space. So one thing I want to say is often when people come in, they're a little bit shy and they go, oh, I don't want to ask that question. There's all these people ahead of me and all that stuff. What I want to say to that is just get over it, as we say in Australia, right? Just get over it. I was there not so long ago. The other day I shared with my community a message that I sent to my then coach, when I couldn't believe the date that it was. And I was in my stuff, in my shit, going, I don't know how I'm ever going to make this work, blah, 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 blah. And then I looked at the date and I went, oh, wow, really? Was it that, it was such a short time ago that I was in this space of just going, oh, this is never going to work and blah, blah, blah. And my point is that the way to make it work, the way to make your life work is to ask the questions, is to go, hey, I don't get this bit. I don't understand how this works, or this isn't working for me, or this isn't, there's something that I'm missing. Well, what is it, and it's through that, it's through asking those questions and really just being vulnerable and going, look, I don't know. Robert Fritz says one of the most important things in creating is to acknowledge what you don't know, because then you get to find out. If you think that you know, if you assume that you know, you make it up the wrong way, then sometimes you can lead yourself off track. I know we're all about making it up, but there are some things that if we analyze it and build our own concepts around it, we tend to move away from the pure premise. Right, and you've probably noticed that William, quite often when questions are asked of him in the trainings, he'll answer in a way that just brings you back to the pure premise, which can feel vulnerable for some people and can feel a bit like, oh, what's this? But it's about that. It's about coming back to the purity of it, and then you can really move forward in life. So I invite you to ask away, and know that whatever questions you want to ask, it's going to serve everybody else, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything natural success. It can be anything to do with creating. It can also be stuff to do with the platform and, the community and anything else. I just thought I'd open this space for those things because I'm always getting messages. I thought, oh, how powerful would it be if those questions were answered in a space where it's recorded and other people get to benefit. So who would love to be the first to ask a question? Rachel, straight off the mark, action taker. Go for it.
I just wanted to know, like, when you're in your pit and you go, like, you swing from one pendulum to the other side, like good, bad, but the ideal is to be up the top of the pendulum looking down, and by that, you're going into what you really love and who you really want to be, and your genius self. So I just find sometimes when I'm in the shit, it's really hard to access that, the genius part of me. What is there any, like, things or tips that you can suggest that would help when you in that shit to be able to access, the higher level?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Perfect. I'm smiling because, there's always these themes that come in, right? And when I'm working with clients or running sessions, there'll be a month where all of a sudden all the same stuff is coming up. And I literally, at this time yesterday, ran a session on the pendulum swing right in my community. It's like we're doing a deep dive into the Kabbalion and the law of rhythm. And it's gone out of my head, the law of rhythm and polarity. Right. So I'll answer from that point, from the Kabbalion. So the law of polarity says that everything has two poles, right? So there's hot and cold, and good and bad, positive, negative, and all of that. And that's inevitable, right? That's how nature works. It's a universal law that everything has two poles. So whatever we're doing in life, we're always somewhere on that continuum, right? We're never totally here and we're never totally here. We're somewhere on that continuum between the two poles. Now, the law of rhythm says that inevitably we're always moving between the two poles, right? So inevitably, okay, do this. Breathe out. Everybody, breathe out. Just breathe out and keep breathing out. Keep breathing out. Keep breathing out. So tell me, Rachel, what happens?
You run out of breath to breathe out with. So
And
to the other side and breathe in.
inevitably have to start breathing in, right? And if you continue to breathe in, at some point, you're going to have to breathe out. It's a law of nature, right? It's now dark here. What's inevitable about that? What's obvious about the fact that it's now dark outside?
It'll soon be light.
Yeah, so this is about focus, right? So there's two things about that. So when it's dark out there, if I spend my entire night going, shit, I wish it was day, 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 what's that going to do for me? How's that going to serve me?
Just focusing on the dark, so you get more of the dark. It's not going to serve you. You're not going to get what you want.
Am I going to change the fact that it's fucking dark out there right now?
No.
And if I'm focused on that, am I focused on resting while it's dark?
No.
Right? So that's it. This is about, have you done Creative Warrior?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I've done alchemy and mastery. I haven't done creative.
Okay. So I'll just give you a little insight in Creative Warrior, where there's an exercise where there's an exercise where we talk about good and bad, right? And this is the thing. So I don't want to teach Creative Warrior. It's not a teaching space, but there's a good and bad exercise in Creative Warrior. It's really powerful. And the thing about the being in your shit, right, is that we label that certain feeling states, thoughts and feelings, we label certain feeling states. I don't know what my mouth did just then. We label certain feeling states as bad and other feeling states as good. So what people often do is they go, oh, I'm feeling good, so I'm in the good space, I'm in my creator, and I'm feeling crap, so now I'm in my shit. Right? So then we spend our time trying to not be in our shit and trying to feel better, trying to feel good. So then the focus goes to that, and all our energy gets spent on trying to feel better and resolving the tension of feeling a certain way, right? And often people do it dysfunctionally through drugs, alcohol, but not always just that. It's like I used to dysfunctionally resolve my tension with something that societally is considered good, going for really long beach walks, right? But I wasn't creating. I'd be like, oh, I've got this step to take. I've got this obvious action. It was causing tension in me. So I'd go, oh, I'm going to go for a walk so I feel better. And then weeks later, I still hadn't taken that action. Right? Had I just jumped in and gone, oh, take the next obvious action, I would have resolved my tension creatively. So focusing on trying to feel better, it isn't creating, right? And at the same time, there is another law of nature that serves us. And that is that in nature, things are kind of polarized more towards the positive end, right? So the way that I'm going to help you visualize this maybe is pendulum swing is inevitable, right? So imagine that you're on a swing, you're sitting on a swing. There's two things you can do. Let's say this is the positive end, where you're really in your creator and you're doing the things. And this is the negative end where you're not in your creator. Right? So as you're swinging, it's inevitable that the swing is going to swing. But yes, you already mentioned that you can kind of climb to the top. And that's a bit of a longer exploration. How do you climb to the top? That's a practice, right? And I'm going to serve you by saying, if you'd like to, you can reach out to me, and I'll what can I do? Yeah, I can probably give you a recording of the pendulum swing. It's a quite a long thing, but that's what it would take. I can't tell you in 5 minutes how do you climb to the top of the pendulum swing. It's a bit deeper than that. But imagine that you're on a swing, right? And this is the good end, this is the bad end. This is when you're in your victim, this is when you're in your creator. What if, as you're swinging, you're facing the creator, right? So even when you're in your victim, you get to choose which way you face, right? So even when you're being in your victim, you're still looking that way. You're still looking towards your end results. You're still going, okay, I'm in my shit now. You know how at the start I said, just notice what's here for you. Notice your current reality. So you can do that. You could go, okay, I'm in my stuff right now, but I'm still going for that. Right? And I'm still going to take even the tiniest little action that I can today towards that. And that is, I like to bring things down to the simplicity, to the simplest thing that you can do. And I said that would be it. Is one, when you're in your stuff, still be facing towards what you want to create, still be focused on that and go, I'm still going for that, right? No matter how I'm feeling right now. And the other thing is the good and bad. Because sometimes people say that they're in their stuff just because they're feeling angry, right? That's not actually necessarily being in your victim. You can be in your creator and have certain thoughts and feelings. And you can be in your victim and feel great. When I was going for 3-hour beach walks, I felt great. But was I in my creator? Not really. Not really. I was actually in my victim. I was avoiding taking the obvious actions towards the end results I wanted. So that's the other thing I'll say, be mindful of what you label as good and bad and what you label as being in your shit and being in your creator. Does that answer your question, Rachel?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. And where are you, Rachel?
I'm in Sydney. I was
in
in
Sydney.
Perth. I was in Perth last weekend, so I know it's all very hot over there at the moment.
It has been, but the wind is a bit, yeah. It's kind of, it cools it down compared to, I'm from the East Coast originally, sort of far north, near south. And there, when it's, when it's 39 degrees, it's 39 degrees. But here, 39 degrees, like, oh, it's all right. It's fine. So welcome, Rachel. Good to meet you in this space. And apologies if I've met you before, just if I don't remember to meet
Okay.
you.
Cool. Thank you.
So, and thanks for the question. Great question, because I'm sure that many people struggle with that. I do, on a daily basis. We all do to some extent, because we're subject to the inevitable pendulum swing. That's just how it is, law, universal law. Cool. What else have we got? What else have we got? Hey,
Hi,
Jaylene.
Beata.
Welcome. Good to see you.
You too. And that was really helpful. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets I was getting out of that. So it's like, oh, I got to expound more on that. But
Awesome.
so my question is more towards making choices and the process you use and what you have to say about that, because I've heard different ways to do it as far as, you do it before coffee, breakfast, before you get out of bed for the commuter. And then I've heard, well, no, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it a little later. And I've also heard. So I'm just curious to hear about how you do it, and so I can, because it just doesn't seem like I've figured it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, great question. And stay unmuted because I'm going to ask you some questions. Because a lot of the questions that people ask, we kind of, sometimes we already know, and I'm not saying that this is the case for you. Sometimes we already know and we kind of wish we didn't, right? There's those times where we already know, and they go, oh shit, really? Come on, guides, is that right? Can I ask again? It's like when you're a kid, you go to mum and she says something and you go, oh, is that really the answer, Dad? So there's those times that we know and wish we didn't. And there's other times when we want to know stuff from other people, when actually the way other people do it isn't our way, right? So there's that. And also there is a certain, so what I want to be careful of is getting into the how. What's the right way, right? What's the right way to do something? And at the same time, here's the polarity, right? Nothing's ever 100% true. So, yes, you don't want to go into the what's the right way and this is the formula, this is the prescribed way. And if I'm not doing it that way, then I can't get it right, because that doesn't work for me, therefore the whole thing is lost to me. And at the same time, there are some things that people can do that are dysfunctional that lead them off track. So I want to ask you two things. One is, what to you is the purpose of making choices?
To refocus me, to focus me, to get me to, first of all, get the vision of what I'm creating in my head, and to recognize my current reality. So am I in my victim, or am I in another place? And from what you just said, it's like I'm going to add, actually, oh, how am I labeling it? Because it doesn't really matter. It's like, go ahead, label it. Oh, I'm feeling great. Oh, I feel terrible, and go for it anyway. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think that's
so
the purpose is. Yeah.
to focus your energy, right? Focus your energy as you go through your life and go, oh, okay, this is what I want to put my energy towards. Absolutely, absolutely. So, what time of day would it serve you to do that, to choose where you're going to focus your energy as you go through your life?
This is funny. Um, I'm going to say in the mornings, but I'm also going to say right before I go to sleep, 2 times. because I've now started to look at going into dream time as actually the beginning of my day. Because, you know, how do we manifest a dream? We dream and then we bring it into manifestation. So,
and you know, it's whatever it is for you, right? Because some people might say, well, obviously in the morning, right? Once upon a time, that would have been my answer, going, well, in the morning, so that you can take that energy through the day and align your actions with that. However, you're right. I've since found out that, for example, the Australian Aboriginal people begin their day in the evening, right? So, and there are also a lot of very successful business people that do that. They actually set their intentions at night before they go to bed. So the moment they've woken up, they're carrying that through and they're like, boom, out of bed, you know, not spending an hour and a half in the morning setting their intentions and planning and whatever. They've done that the night before so that they can basically get it, you know, propel themselves into the day. The moment they wake up, they're already holding that. So it's whatever it is for you. Look, I've not heard of the thing of doing it twice, but there's absolutely no reason why you can't set intentions. So you don't. I wouldn't say that you need to make your choices, you know, full on choices and do the vision current reality bridge on 2 choices twice a day. So if you're going to do bridges, me personally, I like to do that part in the morning, to do the vision current reality bridge in the morning, because that informs my day. Otherwise, I get busy doing other stuff and not taking my bridges, right? But that's me. So that speaks to the time of day. Now, how you actually make your choices. There are certain things in it that are important, right? And one is the whole circle thing. This is why, actually, no, I don't presume to know why William invented circle work, right? But what I'll say is what a circle symbolizes to me is a space that's free from all my other stuff. I can leave my thoughts, my feelings, what I think I already know about, what I want to find out about. I'm leaving that outside the circle, right? So when I step into current reality, I'm literally emptying out. I'm imagining walking through either a golden curtain or a purifying waterfall or some kind of a portal. That means that I'm emptying out. I'm leaving whatever I think I already know outside of the circle. So that when I'm stepping into the current reality, even though there might be things that you know my mind tells me, oh no, I know what my current reality is, you know. And often my clients will do that. They'll go, oh no, my current reality is that I now, you know, I've got a home choice and I don't have any money and it's so far away and blah 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 blah, right? And what they give me is their thoughts and feelings about their choice. And what I always say is when you go in, because often I'll go into my client's current reality and I'll see that the choice is actually nowhere near as far away as what they think it is. Right? So the important thing is to actually empty out, both when you step into the vision, because inevitably, if you step in with what you think you already know about it, you're going to deprive yourself of receiving some very important information and the truth of what's actually going on, you know, the truth of the vision. More often than not, the coach sees a bigger vision than the client, because as humans, we don't allow ourselves to see the full expanse of the vision, right? So, but you can help yourself by just practicing. It's practice, right? So you're not going to get it straight away, but through practicing, through doing it every day, over time you do get better and more skilled, more masterful at leaving everything else outside and stepping into the circle and getting information on what's the true vision, what's this choice really about. because there's the wording of the choice, and there's what we saw in the land of plenty, right? But quite often what I'll get is I'll step into a circle and get an aspect of the choice that had never occurred to me before. At one point I had a choice that was worded in such a way that it wasn't really clear what it was about. And I won't go into that now, right? But it was like, I'm building a platform, blah, 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 blah. But as I was stepping into it every day, into the vision of it, the details of the platform that I was building were revealed to me, right? So that's what I'll say. One, the time of day, whatever serves you. And two, when you're stepping into the circle, keep in mind, what's the purpose? Why am I doing this? It's to get the truth beyond my normal human thoughts and feelings and limitations, the truth of the vision. What's this choice really about? What's the full expanse of it? And then stepping out of that, and again, emptying out as you step into the current reality. What's the truth of the current reality? Because current reality doesn't always have to be the doom and gloom, right? Sometimes current reality is you're closer to this than you're allowing yourself to see. Right? Sometimes current reality is, hey, it's right there. And then your bridge is have this one conversation and bang, there's your choice. Right? Sometimes that happens. So that they're the two things, again, to bring it back to simplicity. Keep in mind the purpose of choice making, and that will show you the obvious. And as much as you can, at wherever you're at in this journey, and I know that you're quite practiced and you've been in this for a while, wherever you're at in this journey, as much as you can, empty out and go into the circle, leaving your thoughts and feelings behind. And I say as much as you can with a bit of a tag, how in writing they've got the little asterisks. Because of course we can all empty out, right? But the reason I said that is because sometimes people go, oh, I can't get out of my thoughts and feelings. I'm not doing it right. It's like, whatever. It's like if you can't, if today there's all the thoughts and feelings coming in, just notice them and just do the best you can, right? So the third thing I'll say is never give up on it. And this is for everybody, of course. Because, today my thoughts and feelings are really coming in there. I can't do this right. It's not working for me. Just do it anyway, right? To whatever level you're able to do it on any one day. Of course, always keeping your eye on that end result where you can empty out to a point where you receive the truth, because that's what it is. So always focusing on the end result and what's the purpose of doing anything. Cool. Does that help, Jaylene?
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have any follow-up questions on that?
Okay, yeah, I do. This was really great. So, and I think I'm saying this not just for myself, but for also maybe other people who are new, is that when we do our choices, we always do the 4 foundational choices plus 2 of the choices, and then rotate through that. And that can also be slightly, we can change that too. It's not like it's a hard and fast rule, but the foundational choices are every day. Is that?
So the foundational choices, some people make 2 foundational choices, some people do the 4. Right, so health and true nature and purpose, everybody does that. And then some people add the freedom and predominant creative force, right? So there's the foundational choices. And then the other choices, we make every choice every day, right? So you choose that. I choose all of my choices every day. And 2 of them, I'll do vision, current reality, bridge. So I choose them all every day. I choose da-da-da-da-da. And then there'll be 2 that I'll do the vision, current reality, bridge to give me my action steps for the day or the week, to give me the action steps for those specific choices.
that actually
That's
helps
the
to
structure.
clarify this a bit more. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Jolene. Who else have we got? Tiffany. Hey, welcome.
Hello. So I don't know. See, here I am again. I'm critiquing my question.
It's always great to
So
do. Yeah.
like, is this a good question? Is this the right format? Yeah, no, it's true. It's going on. I, make all these choices, and then the fear starts coming in, and I start settling and making them smaller and small. And I just wanted to know if you could speak on that at all.
Mm-hmm. So, what is it that you'd love to know? And I'm not, and I think
Yeah,
I
no.
know. I think I know, but I don't want to assume. And I also want you to get a bit more clarity. What is it that you'd love to know? What is it?
Well, the answer that I'm getting is just one step at a time, would be where I'm at, that is what I'm getting. But it doesn't seem to calm me,
Mm-hmm.
because my
Okay.
choices feel so much change from where I'm at, right? Like I have this life I've created, and it would be uprooting it and changing it. And so my head just goes into this whirlwind tornado of
Mm.
making those changes. And so anyways, I don't know. Maybe I do
Cool.
know.
Yeah, you do. So what you're talking about is resistance, right? What
Yeah,
you're talking
absolutely.
about is resistance, which
Hmm.
just like the pendulum swing is inevitable. It's inevitable. Right? Have you read the book called The War of Art by Stephen
Mm-mm.
Pressfield? Check it out. Check it out. It's
Okay.
it's not that long. It's not a difficult read, and it's quite repetitive in some ways. But it's great in that it talks about resistance, and also any of Robert Fritz's work. He talks about resistance and how it's going to come in. It's going to come in, right? There's absolutely nothing
Hmm.
you can do about it. Why? Because it's like human beings. We've got the two parts to us. You've got your creator, the part that saw the land of plenty, the part that's going, yeah, I want that. I want that. And then, how have any of us created life up until now? It's from our victim, right? And it's not
Yeah.
to say that that's bad, but it's the default. So we make some stuff up when we're kids. I often watch kids, and when I see tiny little children and I go, wow, they're here going, how do I work this thing? Right? How do I work this body? And then just watching going, how does this work? Oh, okay. And I see them reacting to their parents and then working things out in their head. And that's how we've all come into this world and go, okay, how does my body work? How do I do this? How does the world work? How do my parents work? And then as we get older, how do I work my parents so I get what I want? Right. So it's what we do. And then we go, oh, okay, that stuff worked on my parents. It's going to work on everybody else, right? And we assume that that's how the world works. So we create this life based on that, based on a 2-year-old coming in and going, oh, what's going on here? Okay. And we create this life. And we go, yeah, okay. Back then I worked out how the world works, and now I know. Now I know, and I've created this life around that, and it feels good, right? In inverted commas, it
Yes.
feels good. It's a good life, right? And you've
Hmm.
heard the saying, better the devil you know, right?
Yeah.
So we go, okay, it's not perfect, it's not awesome. Some parts of it are, but it's my soul is telling me that there's this other thing that I want. There's this other stuff, there's this other life that I want, the life of a creator. A nervous system, a human nervous system, is designed to keep us safe, which means that the moment you come out of the known, the chemicals are going to start getting created, the fear chemicals of, oh, this is the unknown, right? This is the unknown. It feels uncomfortable. Now, every person I've ever known and known of, you know, stuff that I've read, people that I've listened to, who is living the life that, you know, of their dreams, who is successful and fulfilled. And by successful, I don't mean the cars, and sometimes it is, right? Because that's a natural side effect of being a creator. But successful in that they're doing the stuff that they'd love to be doing, right? Whether it involves money or not. Every single one of those people says that one thing, that living on the edge of your comfort zone constantly, right? So becoming okay with that feeling of, you know, because it's, again, how do you label it? It's like, is it anxiety or is it excitement? Is it champagne bubbles? Is it like, oh shit, I don't know what's around the next corner. Let's find out. Right? Rather than, shit, I don't know what's around the next corner. Someone's gonna whack me over the head the moment I walk around it, right? It's about that. So coming back to the pendulum swing, which we spoke about at the start, labeling that as bad is the one thing that screws people over. Because then we go, well, how do I create this wonderful life when it fills me with anxiety, right? But it's not. I used to wake up every morning for 40-something years, almost 50 years, with full-on, almost a panic attack, like butterflies in my stomach, right? I didn't know that there was anxiety. Like, I didn't know that life could be any different. It's just like, that's just how it is. I thought everybody did, right? And, you know, I created some things in that life. I had a good business, you know, and all of that. I worked as an optometrist and had a family and all this stuff, right? And then I decided to change my life. It was actually before I came into natural success, but I came across natural success shortly after that, which was really perfect. And I started creating. And at some point along that journey, when I made a decision to change my life, I woke up one day and noticed that anxiety or that feeling was gone. I was like, I don't know what happened. I still can't tell you, right? I don't know. And now I don't feel it as much, right? There's still times where I get, oh, wow. Especially, you know, some of the big choices that you're talking about, you know, there's this whole life that I go, far out. Is that, you know, is that me? And I feel vulnerable sharing about my big choices, right? Because I go, people are going to think I'm so up myself, right? I've got this, you know, and that's what happens, right? When you get this vision of what's actually possible for you, when you get this vision of, wow, this life that I've built, which is okay, and to everybody else, it looks like it's a good life. You know, it's not, but it's not actually what I want. And to then step into the life that you love is going to feel vulnerable. It's going to feel vulnerable, right? So the question isn't, how do I make myself feel better about this? The answer to your kind of question is that's not what you focus on, right? You go, what would I love? And, you know, it's this thing. If you were suddenly told that you've got a year on this earth, and I'm not doing doom and gloom, you know, you've been diagnosed with blah, 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 you've got a year to live, but it's just like, okay, you've got another year, right? And then you're going back to wherever you came from, right? How would you want to use it? What would you love to do with it? And then this is where will comes in. You know, we talk about the use of will, because the question then is, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to do it despite everyone saying that you're crazy? Right? Are you willing to actually do it? And I swear, when you make that decision and you step through that door, magic happens, right? You go, wow, oh my gosh. And the feeling of empowerment, of going, wow, I'm actually going for what I'd love. Right. And that's when that feeling of anxiety and the fear of, I would, you know, if I want this, you know, if your land of plenty, which sounds like it does, if your land of plenty looks quite different to the life you've got now, you know, it does. It feels like Cinderella, right? It's like, okay, here I am in this life, you know, doing my thing, and I'm okay. I've got a family, right? I've got 2 sisters. They don't like me very much, you know, to then, oh my God, wow, okay, this is what's possible, and this is the life that I could be living, and I've been missing out on that. Right? So it does take will. It does take will. Yeah. Does that answer your query?
Yes, it's don't focus on the resistance. It was the answer. That's what I
Yeah.
heard. That's what I heard. Focus on
Yeah.
what I love. Yeah.
Accept
Thank
it.
you.
Accept it. And I encourage you
Acceptance.
to.
Yeah.
I've seen many people come into this work and other things, you know, give into the resistance. And I see them 3 years, 4 years down the track, still turning around the same circles and going, oh, but I was just wondering, still trying to work it out, rather than going directly for what you want. One of the things that William says that really struck me when I first heard it is, he says, what's the determinant of success? He says it's the directness of approach. How directly are you going for what you love? Right? Going directly for it, not asking for permission, not stopping to double check, not blah, 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 but directly for it, directness of approach. So I encourage you to do that. Let's go directly for it. You'll never look back. You'll never, literally, you know, I've never looked back at my previous, what feels like a previous life, you know. When I think of the time frames, I shared that before, I go, wow, has it only been that long? Far out. You know, most people when they go through life, especially when they get to my age, you know, go, oh my God, gee, you know, here's December again. Where did the year go? I'm the other way around. When you live as a creator, it happens the other way. Rather than going, what happened to last year? You know, because I've been on the same merry-go-round and one day feels like the same. When you live as a creator, you look back and you go, shit, has it only been a year since then? Far out. Oh my gosh. And there's no better feeling than that. You know, if you talk about how you feel, yeah, in the day-to-day, there's vulnerable moments and it's like, oh, far out, can I actually do that? But on the whole, there's no better feeling. So I really encourage you to just go for it and go directly for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for the question. Well, I've got a bit more time. So what else have we got? What else have we got? And allow it to come to you. Sometimes, you know, when you're there, it's like, I don't have any questions. I don't know. Nothing's coming to me yet. I don't know. But everyone's struggling with something, right? Everyone's something that they're like, come on, Harriet. Oh, I'm not hearing you, Harriet. I don't know why. Is everybody else? It's probably, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, got you now.
I think it was my end. I wanted to ask about you've spoken, what you've said about the choice making really helped me. I wanted to ask, and I probably know the answer. I'd like you to speak about when you put yourself in the bridge circle. I often find it really difficult to get the inspired action, and I think it's because I'm thinking it's about receiving the inspired action, letting the intuition come, just letting it come rather than trying to sort of be there and sort of force the answer. And I just wondered if you could speak about that. I find that intuitive work with other people and using my intuition throughout the day, no problem at all. But it's almost like I get stuck in the rabbit in the headlights when I do my choice making. And when I work with my coach, I find that really helps when there's someone else there. It doesn't affect me in my coaching sessions, but particularly with certain choices that I have quite a lot of resistance to, I think, I find it difficult. So it really helped when you said, do the best that you can. Some days is easier than others, and practice the emptying out. But yeah, I just wondered, my sense is that I should be receiving it rather than searching for it, and that is that along the right lines?
Yeah, so give me an example of what's a choice that you're resistant to. Can you give me an example of a choice that this happens with more than others, for example, just so we can use something concrete?
I choose the end result of purpose. I can't remember it now. I'm on the spot.
Yeah, that's all right. Give me the gist of it.
Something like fruitful, purposeful collaborations with fellow magicians.
Mm-hmm.
So working with other people, basically, who are in this work or who use their intuition.
Yeah. And so when you step into the vision of that choice, and I know it may not be the same, but the most recently, in the last few days, when you stepped into the vision of that choice, what kind of vision do you get? What's the choice about?
The choice is about not magnifying the creative output that I can. What is the choice about? The choice is about working with other people to collaborate, and it's almost like 1 + 1 is more than 2.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
It's sort of the synergy, well, it's in the word collaboration, isn't it? It's the synergistic effects of working with someone else.
Beautiful. Yeah, awesome. Cool. And what's your current reality in relation to it?
I have 1 or 2 people, and then I have 1 or 2 people that I talk to about this work, and otherwise I don't. And I end up judging people whether they're magicians or not. Can someone who's not done the natural success work be a magician? That sort of stuff goes on.
Yeah, so your choice is, and correct me if I'm wrong, to use this as an example, because I could talk about this generally, right? But it's sometimes powerful to have a tangible example of it. So your choice is that you'd love to be collaborating with lots of people, yeah, and having connections and being able to talk about creating, and perhaps even do some work together. Is that the kind of thing that the vision is, where you've got lots of friends and people that you feel comfortable talking with in this type of language and they get it? Is that what the choice is about?
Yeah, but also that they help with the other choices. Like I've got another choice, it's about creating something where, for example, an artist would be useful. And I've got another choice, which is about a retreat centre where working with other practitioners would be helpful, that sort of thing.
Beautiful. So collaborating in bringing like bigger creations that you can't do by yourself to life with other creators, right? So you've got this beautiful, it's quite a juicy choice, right? And it's lovely, you know, collaborating with other people, doing things together, and you know, our choices are all interlinked. So I get that. And then your current reality is that you know kind of one or two people that you can maybe talk about, and then they're not maybe real, you know, maybe they don't quite get it. You know, you kind of feel like that they're not it, right? You've got something, you've got a small version of it, but it's not it, right? So when you step into the vision, you get the vision, you step into the current reality, and you step into the current reality. So let's do a little exercise, because this, you know, this can look a number of ways. Again, there is no way that it has to be, but there is a certain protocol, a structure that needs to be followed. So one is that we get the truth of the vision. One is that we get the pure current reality. And the other one is that we derive the bridge from the energy of the vision, right? So that you're in the feeling of the end result. You're in the true emotion of your true end result. So can you do that now when you step into the emotion of the true end result, right? And you're aware of the current reality. And, you know, some people can imagine it holding both at the same time, going, okay, there's the vision on one hand, and there's current reality on the other. And if I'm sitting up here, what would be obvious to me, right? What would be obvious to anybody? If you want these collaborations and blah, 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 and then you've got this, and yes, you don't want it to come from your head, which I think is the question you were asking. It's like sometimes it kind of comes from your head. So give me an example of something that's obvious.
Well, the energy of the end result is fun. Is that what you mean? What's the energy of the end result?
So the energy of the end result is fun. And when you're in that feeling of fun and you're looking at this thing where it's kind of maybe clunky and there's not as many people as you'd like to be there, like you're aware of that, what's obvious to you about that, about going from the current reality energy towards the end result energy?
That I could be more specific about how I ask for help, like be more specific about the help that I want.
It can be, yeah. Okay, so what I get about what you're asking, and I'm not your coach, so I don't know, but what I get about what you're asking is that sometimes you feel like your bridges are kind of more head derived, where you go, oh yeah, you know, that's what my mind tells me should be done. So then you go, oh, it's not a real bridge, right? So there's two things that I'll say about that. And the first one is sometimes the obvious is the obvious, right? Sometimes the obvious is the obvious. It's like if I've got a book writing choice and my current reality is that I haven't even written the first line, I'm likely to get a bridge that says, sit down and write.
Yeah.
Right? The obvious. Yes, my mind's going to tell me that, and my greatness is going to go, yeah, look, the thing that your mind tells you, yeah, stop avoiding it. Stop looking for some other bridge that's easier, right? Just freaking sit down and write, right? So sometimes the obvious is the obvious. Sometimes we can get caught up in the doing, in doing what we think it's going to take to bring that choice about, and miss the obvious, right? And really it is, again, a practice and a daily practice, right? Where the important thing is to be in the energy of the true end result. So what you said, the energy of the end result is fun, right? So when you're in the energy of fun, what does this look like? And sometimes the bridge might be something like just when you're talking to people, step into the energy of fun. Right? It can be something as simple as that. Just connect with the energy of fun whenever you're interacting with somebody. You know, it can be a million other things. It can be go to the cafe in the next suburb and order a sub sandwich, right? And you go, what? Right? I don't know. It can be something crazy. But yes, you absolutely do want to receive your bridge, right? You do want to receive your bridge. And there's always something that you get. And the important thing is to receive it not from the energy of the current reality, to step out of the current reality, because that's where the mind kicks in, right? Sometimes people step into current reality and they go, oh, I got the bridge, right? But often that is the mind going, this is what you need to get out of current reality. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that that can't be true, but following the structure, always step into the vision, step out of the vision consciously, step into current reality, step out of current reality so that you're not making the bridge up from that, because that's just a getting away from energy, right? And stepping into the feeling of the vision. You know, everything is energy and vibration. Right? So when you align with the vibration of that fun, when you're in that feeling, what occurs to you then?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
But
Thanks
I
for
also take your point about the obvious is also sometimes doing the work. And I think that's the stage that I'm at. I've had the initial kind of, flurry of excitement about the land of plenty, and I'm getting, actually doing the choices is doing the work as well.
Yes. Sometimes, yeah, and you make a really good point, right? That sometimes people get caught up in, oh, this is magic, so it's always got to feel magical, and I've got to let magic take care of it. No, sometimes that we're in the physical world, right? We're living in the physical realm. So yes, sometimes I find when I work with people, sometimes they'll reject the bridges because they go, that can't be right, right? No, sometimes it's just the thing. There's certain steps that need to be taken. Now, often it's not the amount of work that we think, right? But there are certain things that actually have to physically happen. There are certain things that we need to physically do. See, Vanessa, to bring that thing about. And what often happens in my experience is that I'll start taking those physical steps, and then something will happen that all of a sudden it's almost like I've gone through a portal, and I thought that it would take, let's say 100 hours of that, 100 units of work. But the moment I've done 1 or 2 units, something happens and I'm on where I thought I'd be 50 units down. It's like, oh, okay, there's the magic, right? But then I still have to do the next bit of work, right? So it's like magic gives us little portals, but we do have to actually apply and do the stuff. So yes, so don't reject what you get, because I would say from what you've just shared that you probably do get the bridges, but sometimes you reject them because you go, no, that can't be right, right? So my one phrase answer to that would be go with the first thing you get. Always go with the first thing you get, no matter what it is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Harriet. And thanks everybody for coming along. So we're right on time. If questions do occur to you through the month before our next Q&A, jot them down. You can even message them to me or email them to me. Okay, and that way they don't get lost. So, because I know that questions do occur to everybody. They occur to me all the time. So do bring them to next month's Q&A. I'll announce the date sometime soon, and I look forward to seeing some of you there. All right, unmute yourselves in true natural success style and say goodbye to those watching the recording and to each other. And I'll see you next time or somewhere along the way.
Thanks,
Thank
Beata.
you.
Thank you, Beata. Thank you, everyone, for the space. I love you all. Bye.
Okay.